What's going on, Bengals fans? Stone Shields on hand for another edition of Bengals Breakdown. As you can tell, at home edition of Bengals Breakdown. Working a PM today at Chat Sports. But we got some breaking news that we need to get to on the top of today's show. Obviously, when Bengals breaking news hits, we've got you covered. And the breaking news today, Cincinnati has announced that they are hiring Scott Peters as their new offensive line coach for the 2025 season. Michael McCarthy is also being brought in as the assistant offensive line coach. We'll have more on that here in a moment, but do remember to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. YouTube.com/Bengals TV. Anytime Bengals breaking news hits, we got you covered with a video, even if we are not in our Chat Sports offices. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. Also, we'll have a video when the Bengals announce a defensive coordinator hire, which should be only a day or two away, I would think. Again, hit that sub button, YouTube.com/Bengals TV. So, Cincinnati hiring Scott Peters to replace Frank Pollack as the team's offensive line coach. And, obviously this is very fresh, very new news here at this point. And I'm okay with this. I'm not over the moon with this hire, but I'm by no means, ticked off about it either. He wasn't one of the guys that we have talked about as, when we made our Bengals offensive line coach candidates video. We have never talked about Scott Peters, so it comes in a bit of a surprise, but really shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Peters really cut his teeth under Bill Callahan, so he spent a lot of time with the Cleveland Browns, was their assistant offensive line coach from 2020 to 2023, which obviously is a solid tenure there. And Zac Taylor has tremendous respect for Bill Callahan and the things that he can do out there coaching football. Again, Callahan is one of the best offensive line coach minds in the NFL. He's been at it for a long time. I believe he's 68 years of age. His son, of course, is Brian Callahan, who was the Bengals' longtime offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Then now, of course, is the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Bill left Cleveland to go be the OL coach for his son. And this is a guy in Scott Peters that really learned under Bill Callahan for a really long time. And I think that is why Zac Taylor opted to make this hire, because he just has such a tremendous amount of respect for Bill Callahan. Continue with this obviously here in a moment. We'll go into a little bit more detail, but I want you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Grade this hire for me, A, B, C, D, or F in the comments section. It is the pinned comment of today's video, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. A point of emphasis for Zac Taylor in this hire is he wants guys that understand AFC North football, because that really has been one of the two main things that has held this team back. One is your performance in the division. Two, of course, is how you start out seasons in September, the slow starts, but you haven't won enough games in your division the past couple of seasons. And beyond 2024 and years prior to that, you've been able to kind of get away with it, right? Get hot at the end and still find your way in the postseason. Well, that obviously didn't work out in 2024, and it kind of, bit you in the behind a little bit, so to speak, and that lack of success against the division. So we've heard Zac Taylor talk at length about how important it is to have guys that understand what AFC North football is all about come in here and be a part of this organization. I think that's what you saw there with this hire, bringing in a guy like Scott Peters. He has been around this as a assistant with the Cleveland Browns, hasn't really had an opportunity to really be a focal point of a team. He was, by the way, I should mention this, is very important, the offensive line coach for New England last year. And I understand that people might not be fired up about it because the Patriots really had a disastrous season last year and their offensive line wasn't good. But I think you just got to, look past that. It's tough to look past that because, the results speak for themselves. But I think the coaches in New England are kind of getting away with some of the lack of success the team had, just because it kind of was a dumpster fire from top to bottom with that organization last season. But that is really the main thing that I would be concerned about, is that lack of success in New England last year. But he's going to have another opportunity to be an offensive line coach in the NFL after one season as the Patriots offensive line coach. He is coming in to Cincinnati to have that same role. Continue with our show here in a moment, but first I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Today's at-home edition of Bengals Breakdown is presented by Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier, filters out all the fluff, to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. Still some opportunity to see an NFL game this season. Obviously, tickets are going to be expensive for the championship games, but Game Time has the best deals possible, and would really encourage you guys to use Game Time if you are thinking about going to either the AFC Championship or the NFC Championship game. I've had the opportunity to be at a conference championship game, and there really is nothing like it. Obviously, our Cincinnati Bengals aren't playing, but if you still want to go check out some of that NFL postseason action, I would recommend you do it with Game Time. My two favorite features on Game Time: the seat views, get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Secondly, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front, so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout like some of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. All right, so the Bengals also bringing in Michael McCarthy as the assistant offensive line coach. He most recently spent time in New England as an offensive assistant. He's going to be the second-hand man to Scott Peters at that offensive line position. He's in his 30s, so he's a little bit younger. Peters, by the way, is, I believe, 46 years old, so a little bit younger, of course, than what Frank Pollack was, but still, a veteran guy that has, been around the league for a second or two. McCarthy going to have an opportunity. He gets promoted. Now he's going to be an assistant position coach, and we'll see if he can bring some quality things to the table as well. Of note of Peters, he spent some time playing in the NFL. This guy was a former player. He was a fourth-round pick in 2002. Things didn't really work out for him as far as a player. Was only able to stay in the league for 6 or so years, bounced around some teams, was drafted in the 4th round out of Philadelphia, went to the Giants, went to the Niners, went to the Panthers, and finished his career with the Arizona Cardinals. But it's a new face, and Zac Taylor has to get this coaching hire correct. I assume an offensive or a defensive coordinator hire will be in the next couple of days, but this offensive line coach hire, he has to hit this out of the park with Scott Peters, and we'll see if he is able to do it. Another opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Grade your confidence level in the Bengals coaching staff. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. I want to know what you guys think. Be honest. I know you guys have gotten after Zac Taylor quite a bit over the past couple of years, but let me know what you think. Scale your confidence level 1 to 10 in the Bengals coaching staff at this point. I am slightly concerned about one thing, and that is that, of course, Scott Peters has the history with New England. Spent most of his time with the Browns, right, under Bill Callahan, as we mentioned at the top of the show. But does that mean Zac Taylor's going to bring in a guy like Patrick Graham or DeMarcus Covington on the defensive side of the ball? I know I'm really fired up about the prospect of bringing Al Golden back. That's who I want as the Bengals DC. But this hire makes me think, man, does he just take another guy that was, with the Patriots? Obviously, Graham was most recently with the Raiders before the Patriots, but that would be something that I would be concerned about. I wasn't really going to, be up in arms about whoever the offensive line coach hire was, right? I think there's multiple guys that you could bring in. It's different than, a coordinator, right? There's not a ton of big name guys out there that you're tracking. But I would be disappointed if Al Golden was not the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. It has been reported that it's either him or Patrick Graham. I hope Golden wants the job. He's got a big game tonight, obviously, in the national championship for Notre Dame, but we obviously will see. And, of course, we will have a video as well. So the Bengals announcing they're hiring Scott Peters. Again, just a quick wrap up here. Spent several years under Bill Callahan as an assistant offensive line coach with the Cleveland Browns. Zac Taylor spoke at length. We need guys that know what it takes in this division in the AFC North that have been around the division to come in here and help us have more success in the division. I think that's really reason number one why he made this hire. And under Bill Callahan, I'm sure he talked quite a bit to him, probably even gave his buddy Brian Callahan a call, said, hey, is this the right guy? I'm sure they talked that through, and they came to the decision that he is. And the Bengals also bringing in Michael McCarthy as the assistant offensive line coach, who also spent time as an offensive assistant with the New England Patriots. So that will do it for today's at-home edition of Bengals Breakdown. If the Bengals make any more hires later today, of course, obviously, we will have a video for you. So don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV.